Thank you, Shannon, for joining us on the Financial Foreman Ask an Expert series. So, Shannon from Buddy, I always like to start our interviews by asking what's your background and kind of how did you get into doing what you did?
Yeah, I guess my story is probably a little bit different to most. I had a former professional career, I guess you could say, had senior leadership roles in the not-for-profit and charity space, and probably 5 or so years ago, just needed a bit of a breather and a bit of a mix-up, and always loved photography and filmmaking. And I guess with my former kind of strategic world in which I worked in, I thought that there might be a nice little partnership between good creative content and good solid strategy. And I kind of thought those two together would be maybe a little bit unique for the sector at the time or industry at the time in the marketing space. And yeah, I thought it was a place for me to at least dip my toe in. And 5 years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, nice. And is it that part of matching up content strategy and the product you're delivering that you find challenging, you particularly enjoy about what you do?
That's the part I love. I love being able to sit down with our buddies, so our clients, and really try to fundamentally understand who are you? Yeah. What do you do? What's your point of difference, or what do you think your point of difference is? Yeah. Who's your target audience? Let's work out where that audience kind of spends their time and plays. And then starting to look at how do we refine messages? What are their scopes and products that you're wanting to showcase? How do we showcase them? For me, that part before we even turn on a camera is really enjoyable. And obviously running around with cool, fun gadgets is also a pretty cool part of the day as well.
Yeah. And I think you've spoken a lot about, spoken a lot about being your authentic self and making sure your brand is your authentic self. So do you mind explaining, I guess, why it's important that your brand represents your authentic self when you're getting your content out there?
Yep, we use that word a lot. How do you showcase your brand in a way that's authentic to the business? I guess for me, it's pretty simple. Like if you're putting on a mask essentially and trying to be something or someone that you're not, people have this ability to read through it. Yeah, it's like the pub test, or just
they've got an internal filter.
Yeah, they just don't know, something doesn't feel right. So for me, every business and every client of ours is unique in what they do, both in terms of the work they do, but also in terms of how their brand and business looks and feels. Yeah. So for me, it's really important that they just lean into that. Yeah. Be genuine, showcase who you are. People can see pretty quickly if you're putting on a facade. Yeah. And I think it's just disingenuine. People don't connect with it. And for content, in 2026, that trustability component is massive. Yeah. If you don't trust what you're looking at, say goodbye to good, valuable leads.
Yeah. And it's that cut through, I guess, of being genuine and really cutting through with the audience you're trying to connect with. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Sometimes you have to play a fine line in between how genuine one can be. Particularly, obviously we work with businesses in all different sectors and industries, and obviously some are a little bit more conservative by nature. So obviously where appropriate, I think there's still definitely a way to showcase, the look, the feel, the connection piece of a business without going overboard. But yeah, that's an interesting part to play in.
Yeah. And I guess on that similar sort of topic, what are some common mistakes you see from businesses that go out there to try and give it a crack because they want to get content out there? So what are some simple, I guess, branding or content strategies you might see from the people that are trying to do it themselves?
There's a couple. Firstly, 2026, well, we live in this digital world, content is everywhere. We're inundated. It's volume of content that we see a day is ridiculous. So in 2026, I guess what some of the metrics and the trends are starting to lean towards is more purposeful content. Yeah. So we see a lot of businesses that are like, we have to be social on socials. Yeah. We need to be present. The algorithm says that we need to post X amount of times, and to them that might be whipping out their phone or taking a picture or doing something. And a lot of the times what we found is if they're not necessarily considering what they're filming or taking a photo of, it kind of loses its meaning. Yeah. It's just content for content's sake. Yeah. But interestingly, there's this premium builder. We had some connections with them, and boutique builds, high quality homes, high price point. And I was looking at their online platforms, and it didn't marry up with what they were saying in terms of their brand and their premium quality and their polish. These are people mid-40s that are rolling in and doing TikTok reels and the likes, because they thought that would be a great engagement tool. And they might have had great, I guess, likes or engagement on, say, TikTok. But ultimately, someone on TikTok probably isn't your target demographic. So who are you selling to? You're probably not selling to a young 20-year-old or an earlier, a younger person. So sure, you got views, but they're essentially pointless. Like you can throw them in the bin almost. So how do we refine it? Get back to your core business and demonstrate what you do on a really high and premium end, because that's who you are. So that was probably the biggest ones for me, being like, wow, this really successful company is rolling on the ground on TikTok reels. This is freaking me out. Just not.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I've even said it in my own brand in terms of the layout of how even your social media feed looks when someone clicks on it. As like there needs to be a thought strategy around how that all looks to make sure it's clean and professional. It's not just a random jumble of pictures and videos that looks crazy. So, and then, but you did raise a good point that I thought might be interested, is obviously different content for different platforms. You spoke about TikTok and how, that's a younger generation. So how important is it to tailor content for different platforms?
I guess firstly, it's that kind of technical component. What does the platform and the algorithm themselves like? What type of format are they interested in? That kind of dictates how we shoot and what we're shooting. Obviously everyone knows Instagram, TikTok, and the likes are kind of more portrait-based viewing, which is great because technically you get more real estate on a phone. It does restrict our ability to show, I guess, a broader scene or telling maybe a much nicer and more beautifully composed picture. But that's just how that, I guess, platform operates. Then obviously we start looking at the analytics or in the data in terms of what users, I guess, connect and spend their time on various platforms. And although there is a lot of crossover at times, they're quite clearly identified by the demographic. So if you're a business to business operator, we should definitely be exploring what a LinkedIn presence and, I guess, strategy looks like for you. If you're definitely more looking for business to customer or consumer, okay, cool. Let's explore Instagram. Facebook still has a place in the market, although, it's probably not as prevalent as what it used to be. And obviously then you have a lot of more product e-commerce based businesses that are using things like TikTok, where they can definitely capitalize on trends and really quick, engaging, entertaining content. But for us, it always goes back to that first kind of step. Tell me who you are. What are your goals and objectives? And importantly, who are the people that are going to support that journey? So who are your clients? What are the demographics? And then we'll really nut out where they sit, particularly in regards to digital content. But again, Buddy, through some of our partners, can leverage more traditional content. A radio campaign might be better suited for you. A TV campaign commercial might be better suited. So really, it's not a one-size-fits-all shop.
If you do hear me on Fresh FM, please stick out. The number one radio station for my demographic is what I'm told.
I love it.
It's interesting tying that all back to the content creation piece. It's obviously starting to look at who you want to target and who are your customers and what platform do you use. But interesting piece is you mentioned Facebook there. So content is an ever-changing strategy. So what are some, in your lifetime, what are some of the big changes you've kind of seen? Obviously, something from my own reflection is static posts. It's like, it's something that, a couple of years ago, that's what I was comfortable doing. I'm just going to post a photo with a nice quote and that's going to be it. That's going to drive engagement. And then I'm told, no, that's not the way things are done now. So
we want,
it's
not what we want, man. It changes all the time and it's constantly changing. By the time people watch or listen to this, it may have changed again. So I think what we're seeing is diversity is the key. Particularly, obviously, short form video content is still number one. And you can leverage that across so many platforms now. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, so on and so forth. What we're also seeing though is that, I guess, carousels. So you can still have a photo. But if you're able to kind of like conceptualize it or even try to showcase more of what you're doing, or even a day in the life, like you can honestly take these. When we're working with our clients, we start to look at content pillars.
Yeah.
What are the key themes of content that we think is going to be best for your business and for your audience? And we start to I guess, create content aligned to those themes. So if it's a carousel based thing, it might be, tips and tricks. It might be an educational piece. It might be showcasing a project that they're partway through, So carousels, really good. Short form video content, really good. But, I'm a sucker that I still feel there is a place for that static graphic design post.
Yeah.
It can be very challenging to have content that's been either professionally shot or shot by yourself, user-generated content for every single post. So I think this kind of space we're in at the moment, variety is the spice of life. Mix it up.
Yeah, and I think that's where it comes back to that content strategy, because there are here that do it yourself, selfie kind of video, short form video, but there is still a place for higher quality professional videos, whether that be on your website or LinkedIn. That's still the audience for that. So, and that's, I guess, where you come in and say, this is how we're going to break it down, and this is what you do. These are the guidelines and the framework for you to kind of work with.
You're right. So as an example, we had a meeting with a potential client this week, and we're talking about, I guess, the range of content that we could support them with. And when we're starting to look at those content pillars, as we touched on, it covered a lot. They're a service-based business, so we're looking at testimonials, how to social proof and build trust through the experiences of your other clients. How do we showcase some of the teams? So it's that connectability component. How do people, I guess, open up their door and greet you for a service and go, oh, I've seen you. There's a connection. Then how do we showcase like the quality of service? So we're wanting, good quality shots of your certain projects and your jobs. And the list goes on and on. So obviously you've got to be pretty mindful that you're not, again, just trying to every strategy for the sake of it. But if you can refine it to maybe 4 or 5 kind of key pillars, we generally find that works best.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I've seen rising in social media at the moment is the rise of characters within brands. And it's an interesting piece, because obviously, like myself as a financial foreman, I identify that as my brand. But if you're wanting to grow and you want to engage with customers, they're going to want to deal or feel a connection to those that they're dealing with, whether that be the accountant or the admin person. So it's really important that you kind of have, or it's becoming important that they have a representation under your brand, so people know who they're dealing with, which is fascinating for me. It's a little bit scary, because it's like you're letting go the reins a little bit, and you're going, here, you're representing my brand, go out on social. It's like, please, for the love of God, don't post anything controversial. And but you've got to embrace that freedom for them to have their character out there. So it's a really interesting space that I've kind of seen rise recently, because the customers want to engage with who they're dealing with, and that might not be the principal or the brand owner.
Correct.
It's those that are sitting underneath. So
but people connect with people. A lot of our clients, and a lot of people, myself included, don't like being in front of camera. It doesn't feel natural. It's not something I generally like to do. And a lot of our clients are the same. But when we start to I guess, talk them through the process and what it could look like for them being in front of camera, whether or not they're the director or it's, Bob or Abby at the front desk, it really doesn't matter. Everyone contributes to a business in their own unique, meaningful way. Younger audiences, they purchase differently to, I guess, an older audience. So they're wanting things that align to their values, that align, I guess, socially or politically. They're wanting their businesses and brands to, I guess, feel like more of a community. Which is great, because we all love connection. So that's what they're searching for. They're searching for behind the scenes look, or they're searching for a little bit of entertainment. They're looking for businesses that probably don't take themselves too seriously, but they do serious work. So it's that balance. I wouldn't suggest letting anyone run reign, like just absolutely take over your socials. I think there's going to be an element of oversight. You definitely don't want to put a lot of time and energy to building a brand and this profile and this presence, I guess, and for it to potentially be undone really quickly. But I love where it's going. I love seeing young people put themselves out there. It's a cool place to be, and it's fun to see.
And I think it is an interesting concept, because obviously we're going to have these younger people within our businesses that are wanting to produce that content, which is completely different from, get a camera. I don't want to be in front of camera. They're wanting that. So it's working with them and, I guess, building that framework.
They were born with one in their face from like birth, where I'm like, Mom, Dad, any photos of me when I was young? They're like, we'd have 3. one completely out of focus. The others, we may have a couple of cordials when we shot it, so it's not the best angle.
Yeah.
Great, thanks. But, kids these days are like mum and dad are just, we both have kids.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 oh, that's cute. So they're seeing it in front of themselves from day one. They get comfortable with it. And by the time, hopefully they're old enough, they're then given one.
Yeah.
And selfies, the likes.
Sienna at the moment, 2.5, take photos and videos on Gaddy's photo. It's crazy.
They're born entertainers.
Yeah. So I think there is an opportunity to leverage that willingness to be in front of a camera, to be a brand. And what that enables you as a business owner to do is build into a bigger brand, because all of a sudden they've got their own gravity of attracting clients and engagement that sits underneath your brand. So it's just everything grows from it. So it's always like an element of embracing it with some guidelines and framework and really seeing where it can grow.
Yeah, I think, the biggest question for that businesses should ask themselves is, what's the risk versus reward?
Yeah.
From where I sit, if it's done well and it has, the good oversight to it, the reward is huge. Risk, I think it can be mitigated.
Yeah.
I reckon, explore it, see where it fits, but just be mindful of, I guess, who your business is and what it stands for, and trying to keep it semi-aligned to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that's been a great chat.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you'd like to add or promote?
No, not at all. I think the only thing I want to stress is that, 2026 is seemingly to be the year where content is going to take over how people engage and connect with your business.
Yep.
And it's already massive. So people are probably like, what are you talking about, mate? But, Meta's changed in regards to how it runs its ads. We're seeing a massive increase in young people. Gen Z are using social media to start searching for businesses instead of Google. So, 2026 moving onwards, not only does it provide businesses an opportunity to showcase, their business, what they do, why they do it. Obviously you showcase your quality, but it's that social proof, trustability. People are going, okay, cool. They can do what I need them to. And I think the more businesses embrace that and leverage it, the more kind of qualified leads and more opportunities they're probably going to get. You can only stick your head in the sand for so long and wish you could just do that one TV commercial a year, but times have changed and 2026 is going to take over in a big way.
Yeah, it's something you actually raised there that got me thinking in terms of the need for authentic content.
Yep.
Because obviously the rise of AI generated images, videos, and like the risk to a business is like it's such an easy resource you can try tap into to get some quick quality content, but the brand damage that can impact by going, you might think it looks like a realistic photo, but something always is a little bit off. And then that is an instant deterrent for anyone if you've produced that image of engaging with your brand. So it is a very interesting space where there's this drive for using more content and creating more content and resisting that urge to kind of use AI to create content in a couple of minutes and produce it and tick that box, where it's actually doing more reputational damage to your brand than not posting anything.
I couldn't agree anymore. Obviously I'm biased, but we're a massive believer in AI and we definitely think that people should be experimenting with it, using it and using it effectively. But on the things that provide value in the world where AI has been increasingly used, everything just starts to look and feel a bit same. So point of difference is really important. There's lots of data out there as well that indicates that businesses who are solely using stock images, which obviously have at a point in time been actually taken, but stock images and AI generated content, I guess, are perceived to be less competent than their competitors who are actually, investing time, energy, and money to take content that actually reflects who they are and what they do. So, a huge believer that it should be used. But with great power comes great responsibility. So
I think I like with AI, it's like powered by AI. So it's AI as a tool to help you rather than the be all and end all. So I really like that term, powered by it. Leveraging AI to produce something better or even coming up with ideas and that sort of stuff rather than it going, I'm just going to use AI and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah. We have a partner company called Boulevard AI that solely works in this AI created content space. And here I am talking about not using it in the likes. what they found during trial and error and trying to be one of the first, and I guess on that wave of innovation, is that the amount of time and the amount of different programs that are required to jump into, and the amount of prompting and nuanced, in particular, if you're a business that needs an aesthetic that is consistent, that can be so challenging. So AI content can be done extremely well. I see it firsthand all the time through Boulevard AI, but the amount that it costs a user at the moment is not sustainable. And the amount of time and resource that you have to put into actually creating it is ridiculous. So will it get to a point where it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing, realistic, and on point? For sure. But we're just not there yet.
Perfect. All right. I think that's enough. We'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate your time.